Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
Good Lord. So, we jam-packed CMS last night, and 49ers won.
Yes.
Falcons managed to lose in New York in overtime. What the fuck? They've quit on that coach, dude.
I think there's a couple of factors there. I think your quarterback is still young and trying to sort out whether your team is trying to sort out whether that's the quarterback or not of the future. And but the weapons you guys have, the youth that you have on your team, means that they are just I believe they need a more consistent quarterback play on the offensive end at all times. Yes.
Right.
They honestly should talk to the 49ers and grab Mac Jones, because I think Mac Jones, with your running game and your receivers, he would be able to distribute the ball.
Well, I know he was thrown out there as a name, and I was like, well, he did pretty good when he stepped in. I mean, he just needed to be in the right situation, I think.
He's got it like any other quarterback. If you don't have an offensive line, you don't have any weapons to throw to, and a running back to hand it off to, you're going to look like dog turd. And so, I think the 49ers are going to try to hang on to him just for the Purdy insurance, but he only has a 2-year deal. And I think if the right team came and called him next year and said, we'll give you a 2nd-round pick or something, the 49ers would be dumb not to take a 2nd-round pick and then just get another backup quarterback that can fill in the spot. So, but the Niners are with 2nd and 3rd stringers find a way to win games. I attribute that very much to the few stars we have, the George Kittles, the Christian McCaffreys, Brock Purdy now holding the fort down. But let's be straight. No matter how you much talk crap about Kyle Shanahan and his lack of a championship yet, it is eventually going to end up in his hands because he is that good of a coach. And he's the reason why we're winning these games. It's not the 2nd and 3rd stringers. They're not that good. It's the scheme. It's the setup. It's the coaching. It's putting them in positions to win. And him and Robert Saleh right now are on fire. My fear is that if we get in the playoffs, that's good. Anything can happen. But the deeper we go, the more other teams who are losing their coaches are going to look at Robert Saleh and go, we want to grab Robert Saleh off here. And we're only going to have him for 1 year.
The Falcons get him and Mac Jones.
And Mac Jones. He that might be brewing up something there. So, for right now, we just need to ride the hot hand, keep going. The teams that it's not just us. The Rams look beatable. Yeah. The Chiefs may not even be in it this year. No. The Bills look beatable. The other teams in the NFC, I mean, the Bears right now look like the top team in the NFC, which is
that's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
So it's definitely I think any team, if you make the playoffs, you have a chance this year, I believe. So
right. Yeah. Well, there's CMS talk though. Yeah, what did you think of that? We can blast through this. I know at some point you fell asleep.
Here's where I just get the reason why they're not going to take a phone call or speak to someone like me or you or Andrew or even anyone, Tim James. Hold on 1 second. Okay, where do I start? Let's just start with lies.
Right.
They sold 800 tickets before Don even walked in the day before the show, and Don walks in the door, and then they sold out 200 more door sales, and so we're at 1,000 seats sold out casino. Buddy, let me tell you something. That first 800, there was papered tickets.
I knew you were going to say that.
The casino comp tickets to some high rollers or some people that are throwing down the dough for the weekend. Something's going on there. There's no chance in hell Don Dokken by himself with his band sold 1,000 tickets on their own with no help. I don't buy that, and I don't think anyone in the industry does. So there's Neely once again just blowing smoke and bullshit up people's ass. And I just can't, dude, I'm not that dumb. Neither is 75 or 80% of your listeners, other than the 20 people in the chat room. That's the other 20%. And so, dude, what are you saying? If you said that was at a club or a theater, I might have more of a thinking that maybe they did move more tickets than I'm thinking. But at a casino show, we know for a fact the casino threw out a couple hundred tickets just to high rollers, comp deals, this, that, and the other, whatever. So no, come on, dude. Bullshit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then he tries to make all that, as you know, real quick, he tries to make all that excuses for Don.
Mm-hmm.
to kind of cover for the fact he just fucking sucks, Wendell. Let's just call it like it is. You can't even say, well, he's not, even for his age, he's not doing good. We've mentioned other people that are his age that are
Mm-hmm.
doing the same shows, hour and 15, 20 minutes, and doing better at their age because they took care of themselves, because they fucking give a shit. So, and then I get frustrated because we've been banging the drum for 6 months on this show that this dude needs to go acoustic and do storytellers and all. And here comes Aiken acting like this is a new concept.
Yeah. That is so
Aiken.
funny. That was hysterical. Again, we continue to executive produce this fucking worthless show, and they're not even doing it right. And more IT problems. I don't know if
Yes.
you were around when
Probably
when
started
Wendell
dozing
bounced
off.
himself off the connection, and then they
Yeah, I was already out
yeah.
by then.
Oh yeah. Well, you
or
missed
I was
it.
dozing off.
You probably fell asleep, but yeah, I think where was again.
Let's go for the first segment. So we were talking. Mentioned
Yeah.
Dawkins, the ticket sales. There was something else Aiken talked about in that first.
Oh,
segment
in the
that
first
kinda got
segment,
my
let me
ire.
blow it. So the old man slept till 11:30 a.m. Watched TV. Surprise! It's snowing. Stranger Things. Uh, this one's kind of funny because my wife stepped into the room when Neely said comfortability, and she goes, "That's not a fucking word." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think you meant familiarity." You fucking idiot.
Yes. Comfortability.
But that was basically the first segment, and then they did get into the Dawkins thing and the uh, I think Aiken introduced the fact that he wished Don would have probably wound things down because now he's getting blasted online. And again, he was even making excuses for him, saying, "Oh, well, the people weren't really there, and they're the ones, the people
let's
there
just
were
start
making
right there.
fun."
Yeah,
I
that
know.
pissed me off too. That
Yeah,
pissed me off right there.
Right.
There are people coming in that weren't there. Hey, fucking Boomer Wendell Neely, listen to this crystal fucking clear, dude. The day after the show, Dawkins performs. Fucking 50 YouTube videos end up there from people in the crowd that's just as good as me standing where they were staying in the crowd, giving you the sound that they're hearing from the crowd. And if that's what they're hearing, that's what it is. It sucks that bad. You can't blame that on them or their cell phones that they're recording it. Dude, the technology is now at such a fucking rate here that that's no longer an issue. You get crystal clear audio, crystal clear video from how it sounds, from the point of view. Now, sure, someone in the front row is going to have worse audio than the person 15, 20 rows back. But most of us who have common fucking sense, the guy that gets the most fucking views on his YouTube video is going to be the guy 15 or 20 rows back near the front of the house with his phone fucking sitting there recording the show. So we get an idea what's going on. It's a fucking joke, Wendell. It fucking sucks. There's nothing you can do or say that those people commenting have every right to say, because all they got to do, they don't have to buy a ticket, bro. They don't have to get one of those free comp tickets from the casino to go see old man Don piss himself. No one wants to fucking sit through that. That's the only reason why people were in the crowd, is because half the fucking crowd got in there for fucking free, but you're too stupid to understand that. And this is what frustrates me. You just bullshit to cover for your friend. Just cut on the fucking air and say it like this: I'm not going to talk about that because that's my friend. Case closed. But he won't do that because that would be very obvious, and then you are, covering for your friend. So you sit here and make up shit and try to justify and weasel around and this and maybe that. Dude, he just sucks. I'm sorry, Don. I like your band as a person and the music you've created in the history of the band, but you in 2020, you from 2015 to 2025 suck. Go home, bro. And your mic's not on.
Yeah. No, where was it? I guess I noted the papered, because he did say an hour and a half, and he sold the place out. And the other thing, though, he mentioned, if you remember, was that then there was all these fans lining up to have their shit signed, and there was 60 people, and they, he signed everything. And I'm like, how does that grumpy bastard do that? I don't know. I don't buy that either, that he's such
Even
a
if he
fan-friendly
does,
guy.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not there to even speak upon that. But once again, that's Neely trying to justify why Don's on the road. Don can go sign 60 things at the Comic-Con too, pal. We don't need to fucking hear him bellowing through or as you're going to see later in a video, talking his way through every fucking song, because he won't even lift a fucking vocal cord up or down at all. He was talking like it's this all the time into the fire.
The
So,
the other thing, then this was an Aiken claim that Don Drunken took a thrashing, right? But he said,
mhm.
well, Don, he doesn't care what people say online. Bullshit, because he wouldn't have said anything for that KNAC interview that he torpedoed with a little help from his clip clop buddy. So again, all
100%.
bullshit. All bullshit.
Yes.
What a
No, Don is
segment. Yeah.
Don does pay attention to what's going
Oh,
on the
sure.
internet, and he does hit that fucking hashtag docket and see what shows up on the YouTube of recent
Hmm.
videos and sees what the comments are. And clearly, he didn't like any of the things we have been talking, and that he whether he heard those on his own or from Wendell. My guess is he heard from Wendell and then did some research on his own. Don's not that stupid. Don can
Right.
find a way to get to YouTube and hit Dawkin what's on the who's been fucking
Right.
hashtagging Dawkin. Come on.
Right. Right. Let me see here. Uh, remember this photo? I think I shared it with you earlier. The the photo from, I guess this was from Back for the Attack, one of the press
Yeah,
photos.
classic.
But I go back to this even back when I was however old I was, I forget. Teens
Mhm.
or preteens. Um, I always remember this photo because I always remember Lynch smiling, twirling the gun and looking like he was just having fun. And then you look at this fucking guy. Even back then, as a kid, I was like, "Fuck!" He looks like he really wants to kill him, and he looked like really angry and just like he didn't really want to be there. So I guess some things just never change.
Grumpy would be a word that I think, again, when Bobby Blotzer calls him Donkey, it's not just
Right.
because of the name, it's because
Right.
his attitude is like a donkey. It's an
Yeah.
Eeyore attitude. It's a,
Right. Yeah.
oh, woe is me.
And he would
Be
know,
nice to
right?
me because bad happened. Yeah, exactly. He does know. He knows
He
very
does
well.
know.
And
Oh
you guys can
boy.
say that Blogger is a dick, and he can be a dick, but
Hmm.
he's not a liar. He's not just
No.
making shit up. It's his experience that these people are this way, and that's where he comes up with these nicknames and these things for these people. And I applaud Bobby for doing that.
Right. Would you say that if we got Blotzer on, maybe we get the real Bobby Blotzer on next week to talk about his thoughts on what we talked about today, but do you think you would say that Don's not flying straight?
110% he'd say
Yeah.
Don's not flying straight because Don's fucking out there hoodwinking people into thinking this is going to be a Dawkins show, and it's a fucking
Yeah.
three guys that have nothing to do really with the history of the band Dawkins, and one guy at the front of the stage who can't sing anymore. And not only that, he just doesn't sing well with the harmony of McCarville. I'm just sorry, it doesn't sound good. Him and BJ and McCarville have there's like a huge difference between Pilson, Mick, and him. And then so I don't know whether that's effort, if that's just the voices and the abilities of the other guys, but
Hmm.
it just doesn't sound good, dude. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. It's weird because even when he just had Mick in the band, I think his vocals really added something to the performance where at least it sounded like the classic Dokken to a
And
degree.
Don has always tried to minimize that, saying it's not fair that Mick didn't do shit and got paid an equal share. Mick, his voice and his drumming was just a part as
Right.
much as Dokken as you are, Don, and
Hmm.
you just hate fucking admitting that. This is a classic, and it's not just Don. This is a classic
Sure.
frontman syndrome. Once they stand to the front of the stage by 3 feet from the
Yeah.
other guys, they think that makes them that much bigger and better. When quite frankly, and this is where I differ from Wendell and Aiken. They constantly go, as long as you got the front man. If the front man sounds like dog shit, it don't matter, dude. Then you're
Yeah.
just carting
Well-
around dog shit. The
well,
front man has to sound good. That's the first preface of your statement.
Yeah, the first example of that I think of is, if you saw Janie Lane when he wasn't as messed up, then towards the end when he was a drunken mess, it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter whether you got the original guy in front or not, because he's just not cutting it anymore.
110%. And so there's a lot of bands now proving Wendell wrong, Foreigner, by showing
Mhm.
that they could just interchange the front man and they're
Sure.
still packing the house because the tunes are so it's really the quality of the front man, the quality of the band. And so this idea that you could just shit anywhere you want on stage as long as Don Dawkins at the front of it moaning and groaning, we're good.
Right.
It's just not true, dude. And the crowd knows that. The reason why we know that to be true, guys, look at the comments and just to take a mental tally. That's a positive comment, negative comment. How many negatives versus positive? I get about 3 out of 4 comments are negative, and there'll be 1 comment for Don that's positive. So that's like 75% of the time, people are saying this sounds like shit.
And those would be like the people that would say anything he puts out is great, like the Shelly Rocks or that
the Wendell Neelys.
Yeah, the Wendell Neelys, and then that woman that used to be in the Facebook page that finally tapped out because she couldn't take the honesty. So
And then there's people like Kendall who just admits she's a fan of Don and Dawkins, and no matter how bad he sounds or no matter what's going on, she's going to go. That's just the way she feels about it. So that's cool.
And good for her. I mean, that's her money.
Yeah. And I don't. If that somehow, I'm just the way that it's the Neely fabricating and adding on that annoys me.
Mm-hmm.
Just be straight, dude. He sold 400 or 500 tickets, and 400 or 500 tickets were handed out by the casino in Compton some fashion. Dude, This is the reality. Come on, bro. Because if he was out there on his own, like at the Arcada, was supposed to be 800 or 900 seater, it wasn't full, Neely. No. So it was like half full, which means he sold about 400 tickets, bro. So I think right about now, his draw with that band is 400 or 500 tickets sold anywhere they go.
Well, how about
if they get a few more or a few less? I bet you it depends upon who's on the bill.
Right.
If they add the bill, a couple more bands on the bill, then we got 1,000 people in the house. If there's no other people on the bill, it might only be 600 people.
Well, if you think of like recognition, like band or logo recognition, I mean, Firehouse, more recognition than Dawkins, right? I could totally see them selling more, being like a headliner.
At this point, I would say they're probably selling equal amount of tickets to Dawkins. And if you
or
actually
more.
look at the album sales, and if you actually look at the album sales and the overall popularity and catalog of the band, it shouldn't be that way. To me, in my opinion, Firehouse has 2 good albums. So Dawkins, I think, has more like 4, I'd venture 5 good albums. Maybe 6 if I'm adding in something else that I'd like to erase the slate there. But the point I'm trying to make is it shouldn't be that close, but it is. But that's also because Nate sounds great. The band sounds great. They bring the song sounding like the fucking album, and there's no bullshit there. It's all live, dude. And so, I'm not saying Dawkins isn't live. I'm just saying that they're not able vocally to make it bring the presentation. So,
and it does go back to that. It's like, how good do they sound? I mean, you close your eyes and you listen to Firehouse, and you're like, fuck, this is pretty close to the originals, right? The studio versions. You close your eyes with the Dawkins, and you're like, fuck, the band sounds great, but what the fuck is happening on vocals?
That's exactly the problem. And so when Neely tries to say, well, as long as you got the front man that sounds like the front man and can do the job, dude. Even like right now, just because he's Steven Tyler, if he goes out there with blown vocal cords, are people going to line up and buy those tickets? No, the word will get out that he sounds like shit. Don't waste your fucking $400. And so Steven doesn't even bother to try, because even though he has Steven Tyler star power, his voice can't fucking do it. So, I'm just saying, man, Neely, you just don't need to blow smoke up our ass, dude. We know what's going on, bro.
And it looks worse when you're lying and then you get.
That's my point. He could have just said, Dawn did a good show. The casino was packed, had a good sound. People seemed happy. He signed the autographs. Leave it at that. Didn't need to tell me that there was this many tickets sold, because that just sounds like bullshit. Didn't need to fucking tell me how great he sounded, or how for his age no, bro. Again, we on the show brought up other 70-year-old singers who sound better.
And I think we were talking about that, just online, back and forth, where I think, was it Andrew that brought up the fact that, these guys that brag about where they're at and what they're doing, like Green Bomb, Neely came to mind, Ed Trunk, and then Ricky Rackman. He does it too he tries to look a little bit more modest, but he would be posting that if he didn't want the attention.
Same thing. Look at me, for sure. That goes on. I mean, that's why I can't stand Rocket of Poison, because his posts are the same way. And this is what drives Bob Leather crazy about Brad Gillis. It's a look at me, I'm in the gym. Look at me, I'm in the pool. We don't fucking care, Brad.
Look at me, I'm going to be at
Brad, we don't care. We don't care where you are.
I said, I got to dig this up. Maybe we'll look at it next time. But I have a couple Bob Leather things, but I sent him the ad mat for Brad Gillis appearing at the Ronnie Montrose remembered. He's got that, he's like flexing his arms and he's got a smile gripping his guitar and yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny as a response to that, but he really doesn't like him and he really doesn't like Steve Brown.
No, and I can see. I'll be, Steve Brown has rubbed me wrong too with the shit he's pulled, dude. I'm sorry. There's been some times where he pulled. People tell me he's such a nice guy. I've seen him be a complete grade A fucking dick, dude. So
I know.
And he's 5'5". So
he's not very tall.
I'm the kind of guy who just wants to go up at 6'5" and punt him across the fucking room and his nuts just one time. Just let him know, dude, stop being a dick. You were never that big. You have no room to be a dick. You're a trickster, bro. You're like scum of the bottom of the barrel of the 80s scene, dude. What are you talking about?
Well,
that's why Leather hates him.
Yeah, he does. And there is going to be a new Trickster album. So I can't wait. Maybe we could get Bob Leather to
give a review,
do a review of the record, right? And we can compare notes and see what we think. He might wind up liking it more than we do.
Well, I know he's much like me, which is that like no matter how good Steve Brown you could think he sings as a guitar player, he's not Pete Lauren, and that's the voice. If you were to listen to Trickster, that's what But I only ever, and I'll be very straight. I've never owned a Trickster album. I never paid for a Trickster. I bought a ticket to go see Kiss, and Trickster was opening, and that's how they entered my sphere. And on that night, he was a dick too. That was the second time. The other time had nothing to do with them being performing. It was just a separate thing. But the first time he was performing, and he was a dick on stage that night too, talking shit to the crowd. Fuck you, Steve Brown. You're an asshole.
Well, I think I told you, and I said this to Herman Raribill. I ought to dig up the clip where I said, "Hey, I saw you on the Crazy World tour in Portland." And he goes, "Oh yeah," and I go, "Yeah, you had Trickster opening," and he goes, "Hey, how were they?" or something like that. And I go, "Yeah, it was the only show I fell asleep at." And he goes, "Oh, really?" He had a nice chuckle of it, but yeah, again, he was a nice enough guy. The times I've had interactions with him, yeah, I'm sure he probably could be a dick, probably is, I don't know, but I don't think he should be singing in that band though. I really don't.
Okay. Yeah, no, and it's a classic case of this. Maybe Mr. Brown, you had a bad day. Maybe that's happened a couple times. I get it,
right?
But it seemed to me like you were being dick to people that you deemed to be not worthy of you and your time, and now the script is completely flipped to where you don't fucking matter. And so now we don't care about you. Now you have to be nice. Otherwise, no one would pay attention to you. If you were completely a dick like you were in 1992, then we would just ignore you. But you had to be forced by career to flip your fucking, and maybe you got older and you calmed down a little bit, whatever. Maybe you were drunk that night in Sacramento Arco Arena. You'll know because I'm going to say, because if he watches this, he'll know. It was the night you got hit in the face with a penny from someone in the front row. You guys opened between Great White and then Kiss. And you went on the stage, stopped the band, and started ranting and raving like a little bitch about getting hit in the face with something. And I agree, people shouldn't throw shit at you, but they threw shit at you because you were doing a guitar solo for fucking ever. We were tired of your guitar solo. No one wants to fucking hear it. No one wants to even hear Trickster, bro. Sorry. That was 3,000 people on that rainy night in December in 1992 or whatever it was in Arc Arena wanted to see Great White and Kiss, and that's it. So you were lucky to even be standing there, and you still were a fucking dick talking shit about fucking people's girlfriends and how great you were. And it just makes you look even fucking. I know a lot of people in the crowd that night walked away going, "Fuck Trickster. That guy's just a fucking douchebag." So professional musicians go watch the Blues Brothers, have bottles coming at them, and just keep playing and act like it's not happening, dude. That's that's what you do, because to do anything else is feeding into it, and you fed into it. So yeah, you're just dumb. It was a penny. It didn't even fucking hit you. It
I
just
do know.
off your fucking.
I do know the guy. Doesn't drink anymore. Apparently he did acknowledge that there was a little bit of a drinking issue way back when, but again, I'm not a fan of the band. The band that I do like that he's a part of is Tokyo Motor Fist, which has the singer from Ted Poley from Danger Danger. Now that's a pretty good band. He's not singing in it. I think he shouldn't sing. Background vocals he's good in doing, but yeah, he shouldn't front a band and play guitar. It's just not. He's not the guy from Giant or whatever. I can't even think of anybody else that sings.
There's very few, like Meniketti. Like
Meniketti,
who's like a quality singer and a quality lead guitar player and handles both without anything being sacrificed. But generally speaking, a guy who's the lead vocalist ends up cutting corners on the guitar and not, because he has to, because he's doing two jobs and it's not always easy to do both. So I just got the vibes from him. Again, it might
Right.
be me. My personality clearly is not fit for all of them people. They don't like a guy like me. I'm too big. I'm too opinionated and not afraid to fucking say shit in their face, which they don't like. They're used to yes men. And so when they're around yes men all the time, and then some other
Right.
guy goes, that's fucking stupid. What are you talking about? They get offended. Oh, who is this guy to say that? It's like, so I'm not the first person in the history of your world to say that's stupid. Fuck no, we're not doing that. That's dumb. Or
Right.
why would you do that or ask that question to your face? Because I'm not afraid. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
just weird. But they get treated like that. They do, and as you know, a lot of the bigger
Mm-hmm.
they go on the rungs, the more they get surrounded by those people. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if his head got inflated here recently because he did do that, co-write a lot of that and produce that Last Ace Frehley record, which I think, I mean, I guess over time that was an okay record, not great though. I mean, I think sonically it sounded fucking good.
oh yeah, the production is top tier, and I mean, I feel about all of the Kiss, or
Mm-hmm.
really all the Kiss, but we'll just say in this case, Ace's
Right.
solo albums. Basically, from Trouble Walking is like the last one that I think is the most complete. Like I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
just kind of hit one through whatever and listen.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it's like 3 or 4 songs are
Mm-hmm.
great, and then there's about 3 or 4 or 5 that I could just
Right.
not do without. That goes from Anomaly to the Space Invader
Mm-hmm.
to fucking Spaceman all the way to 10,000. I thought
Sure.
10,000 had the best production outside of
Yeah.
Anomaly,
Yeah.
and had the catchiest tunes out with Anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
I think those two both had the catchiest tunes for me. But like if I really go back right now, like the other day, Cherry Medicine came on my playlist, and I was kind of like, I don't know. It's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, it's nothing great. I mean, I'll
No.
take some of the stuff off the Comet, preferably, or his
Sure.
78 though. So,
Yeah. Well, so
but I'm not no knock on Brown for doing that. And
sure.
again, let's just say if he's changed his ways and he maybe had an alcohol problem back then and doing blow, which a lot of guys did, so it pumps up their ego, and then they get sober and realize, man, I shouldn't be in such a fucking
Right.
douchebag. So that happens. And if that's the way he was, it's cool now. Cool. I think the thing that Bob Leather doesn't like is it's not Trickster without Pete.
Right.
They both look like he's doing the dye job, like the guy from Alcatraz and the other guys we talk about, where they paint
Yeah.
their face and
Or
hair
Neely.
yeah, it's just so unnaturally black. It's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Phil Lewis, these guys are doing
Phil
this.
Lewis, yeah.
Weird. And
Yeah.
so that bothers Bob Leather. And then the bald bass player wearing the fucking
Yeah,
thing on
the
his head, that
beanie.
really drives
The
drives
beanie.
Bob Leather crazy too. I think that he hates that. So
And what about
and
like the Ron Keel with the metal cowboy tattooed on the fucking forearms? Fuck.
yeah, he doesn't like
Oh,
Ronnie Lee Keel.
boy,
Once he went country, then
yeah. He's
he's
fuck.
got some opinions. So
He does,
um,
and I mean I like him voicing his opinions. How's that?
yeah, well, that's no matter how crazy and outlandish it is, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
quite offensive to people.
Right.
Many of them are not like just complete bullshit. There's a reason why he's saying what he's saying and why he feels what he feels. And
Right.
sometimes I like with Brad Gillis, I'm right with him. I don't
Yeah.
know why Brad thinks him lifting weights or him swimming or him playing
Right.
racquetball is any better than I don't show you me out there shooting hoop in my driveway with my kids. So I
Right.
don't understand. Like that's just something everyone can go to the gym and go swimming, Brad.
I think
Why
it's
don't they see
it's
pictures of-
relevancy, maybe, wanting to
I
remain
think
relevant.
in his mind, and I can't think if you read his wording with him, I think he's trying to be a motivational life coach guy like
Yeah.
Neely. And
Well, no, wait. Neely is not motivational or a life coach. I mean, who would go
Well,
to that?
thinks
I'd
he
go
is
to
in his own
Brad
mind, though.
Gillis. Yeah.
yeah, I would listen to Brad too over Neely. I'm just saying though, I don't think either one. Like Brad, you're a Night Ranger, bro. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't. I
Yeah.
don't know how many people are like I need to get my advice
And-
from Brad.
And well, maybe that's it. I think I said that to Bob that, in that Ronnie Montrose Remembered. I'm like, well, he's a Night Ranger. He wants to be the manliest guy. He wants to be the alpha guy of that band. Because, I mean, it's wimp rock.
Agreed. It is very commercial. It always was commercially safe. For the Bay Area, it was even like very like people were like, "Ooh, we're really
Right.
trudging that almost AOR radio
Mhm.
line, and just the rock doesn't even belong in it anymore." In some point, especially towards you get to the Michael J. Fox stuff that they were
Yeah,
doing,
as you get
whatever
into the
that-
later 80s. Yeah.
Ooh. So, but I would say I don't know. For my money in Night Ranger, I'm gonna say Kelly Kiki would come around the drum kit and beat the fucking shit out of Brad Gillis if he wanted to.
Probably. Yeah,
I'm just being straight. I think as
Yeah.
his job beating the drums, he has to be
Yeah.
a bit more physical. I think he's a bigger guy. I could be wrong. I've never seen him stand next to each other. I've only seen Night Ranger before. I saw him with Ted Nugent one time.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know. I'm just thinking the most machismo on this. I don't know. Kelly is probably right there with Brad over who's the more, they're both OGs, original guys, and both are very manly about the way they go about things. So definitely not little Jack Blades or he's just like a,
I got to remember. You remember Reb Beach was in Night Ranger, right?
mm-hmm.
I swear it was Reb Beach. I'll have to go
On the
back
second
and
guitar.
look on second guitar, and
There might have been a period there.
yeah, they played at what is called Neon Nights over in the Dalles, out Eastern Oregon, and they actually opened for Hell's Bells, which you're familiar with. Again, the all female AC/DC.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted to get the fuck out of town.
Down, said we'll go first. Yeah, that happens
we'll go
sometimes,
first. We
especially
gotta
if
get
it's
the fuck out. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's a show like where, they're playing on a Wednesday or a Thursday somewhere, it's low attendance and they got to get somewhere for Friday and Saturday where they're, got a bigger show to do.
Yeah, I
imagine.
I imagine what they were doing because it was on a Friday night, I think, and I think they probably had a bigger gig that they were passing through, and they picked up this gig and then headed straight the fuck out of town, to get to the next gig. But yeah, it was Reb Beach was in the band, and he was there briefly.
Yeah, they must have seen them with Nugent, and that would have been in 99, 98, 2000, maybe somewhere around that range. And I can't recall. I don't think that the other Watson guy was on guitar, but I don't know who it was. I don't think it was Gillis. I mean, I know it was Gillis, but I don't know who the other guy was.
Yeah, he was gone. Was it? Well, I'm trying to think. Because right now they have Kerry Kelly, and he's been in there for a bit.
I know him. I won't think it was him either.
No,
before
I must have been Reb Beach or some fill-in, I guess.
Might have been Reb. That might have been, because I have seen Reb a few times, but I know I saw him with Dawkins too, because
Right.
I attended the Erase the Slate shows a couple times. Yeah. Anyways, but they put on a good show. But I was there for Nugent. I wasn't again.
Sure.
I was sitting through. I think it was Slaughter, Night Ranger,
Oh,
Ted
yeah.
Nugent, and I was sitting through. I mean, I don't mind Slaughter, but I was getting through the other bands because I want to see. I'd never seen Ted before, and I wanted to see him do
Yeah.
all the cool stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shoot the guitar with the flaming bow
Flaming
arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh shit.
So,
Well, so I don't know. Do you remember segment 3? Because I think you were still awake for segment 3.
What was segment 2? Did we already cover all that?
Yeah. That was mostly Dawkins because everything went back to Dawkins.
Gotcha.
There was a brief mention about singers, but then it went right straight into Dawkins, and
Gotcha.
But segment 3, remember, is when they started with the Sham Wow guy, how he's running for public office. Nah, a snooze fest. And then they mentioned Joe Lynn Turner, how he was at a hockey game and they introduced him, but they played Smoke on the Water.
Guy that's running the PA at the hockey arena.
Yeah.
He's just looked up. What band is he in? Deep Purple. Biggest song? Okay. Hit play.
I mean,
Yes.
that was all filler stuff. I mean, the Dawkins would see that's where Neely probably is hoping something he'll be able to have a Dawkins connection, because that's all filler. He goes back and rehashes the same bullshit. This whole Joe Lynn thing, they made a big huge deal of it, and I'm like, well, the guy just didn't know what he was doing. He didn't get proper direction. I'm sure Joe didn't take offense to it. Yeah, so what?
Yeah, I think even Joe Lynn Turner's own ego knows that in the history of Deep Purple, he's not the most known member. He sang for Purple. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. And he just went to whatever was at the top of the Spotify playlist,
which was which was Smoke on the Water or Hush.
As we all know, there's like between
Raise your horns high.